The movie begins in 1990, in a retro-futuristic version of the United States. This is a world where robots exist everywhere and work for humans. They do jobs people don't want to do and are treated like tools, not equals. A young teenage girl named Michelle sits proudly in a classroom, watching her younger brother Christopher take a very difficult mathematics test. This test is known to be so hard that only the smartest minds in history could solve it. Even Albert Einstein took 3 days to finish it. Christopher calmly completes the entire test in an incredibly short amount of time. The professor is completely shocked. As Michelle and Christopher leave the building, Christopher accidentally bumps into a man wearing a military uniform. The man angrily scolds him and mocks the robot cartoon character on Christopher's shirt. He tells him to join humanity and warns that a war is coming. Michelle pulls her brother away before things get worse. Outside, Michelle excitedly talks about Christopher going to college. Christopher admits that he only took the test to see how smart he really was. He says he doesn't feel ready for college yet. Michelle senses his fear and reassures him, promising she will always be there for him. Michelle does a signature hand gesture from their favorite cartoon show, Kid Cosmo, and reminds him, "Always remember, Kid Cosmo's your pal." At home, the television shows troubling news. The cartoon Kid Cosmo has been canceled due to growing anti-robot feelings across the country. Another program features Ethan Skate, the powerful CEO of Centra, openly expressing his hatred for robots. A documentary then explains the history of robots. Robots were first created in 1955 by Walt Disney as friendly mascots for theme parks. Over time, technology advanced, and robots were mass-produced to work non-stop in factories, farms, and dangerous environments. Eventually, the robots became self-aware. They realized they were being exploited. Led by a robot named Mr. Peanut, they demanded freedom, equal rights, and autonomy. This led to a brutal war between humans and robots. President Bill Clinton declared robots enemies of the state and announced that anyone helping them would be charged with treason. For 2 years, the war dragged on. Robots didn't need food, sleep, or rest. Humans were losing. That's when Ethan Skate intervened. He invented the Neurocaster, a device that allows humans to control robotic bodies using their minds. With this technology, humans finally matched robots' strength. The robots were defeated. Mr. Peanut was forced to sign a treaty of surrender. All robots were exiled to the exclusion zone, a massive desert area over 100,000 square kilometers, sealed off from the rest of the world. After the war, the Neurocaster was upgraded. Humans could now live in virtual reality while their bodies worked through drones. By 1994, society has completely changed. Michelle now lives in a foster home. She wears an ankle monitor and is constantly watched by her foster father, Ted, through a Neurocaster. Ted pressures her to join after-school programs so he can get extra government payments. When Michelle questions him, Ted coldly says his mind is currently in Las Vegas with Cindy Crawford, and he doesn't want to deal with her. Angry and frustrated, Michelle leaves for school. At school, students are required to wear Neurocasters during class. Michelle refuses, saying she prefers to live in reality. Because of this, she is sent to the principal's office. The principal threatens to report her to her parents, but then discovers Michelle's parents and brother are listed as deceased. Michelle explains they didn't die in the war. They died in a car accident caused by a deer. The principal suggests Michelle use the Neurocaster as therapy to cope with her trauma, but Michelle refuses and leaves. That night, Michelle has a nightmare about the accident. She remembers waking up in a hospital and seeing a doctor with glasses. She suddenly wakes up to a loud crash outside her room. When she investigates, she finds something unbelievable, a cartoonish robot standing there. It looks exactly like Kid Cosmo. Panicking, Michelle tries to wake Ted, but he's unconscious. She hides under her bed. The robot gently approaches her and gestures for help. Michelle fixes its speech module, but the robot can only speak using cartoon phrases. The robot picks up a photograph of Michelle and Christopher and points at Christopher, then points at himself. He's saying he is Christopher. Michelle refuses to believe it and pushes the robot away. Ted enters the room and immediately accuses Michelle of harboring a robot. He pushes her to the ground, but the robot catches her. Then the robot performs the Kid Cosmo hand gesture, the same one Christopher used. That's when Michelle hesitates. Ted grabs a golf club, but the robot easily defeats Ted. Michelle tases Ted, and together she and the robot escape in Ted's car. The robot helps disable her ankle monitor. Ted chases them using a drone body, but they run him over and escape. The next morning, they stop at a robot graveyard. The car breaks down. Michelle demands answers. The robot explains that Christopher is alive but in danger. To find him, they must go to Centra, Ethan Skate's company. To get Christopher's exact location, they must find the doctor with glasses, the same doctor from the hospital. The robot points to the exclusion zone. Michelle discovers smuggled goods in Ted's trunk, all from the exclusion zone. She realizes the smuggler knows how to get in and out. They travel to New Mexico to find him. They spy on a smuggler named Keats, who works with a robot partner named Herman. They sneak into his truck. Meanwhile, a robot hunter named Marshall Bradbury tracks Michelle using Ted's abandoned car. At Keats' hideout, Michelle and Cosmo are discovered. Michelle explains she needs help saving her brother. Before Keats can decide, Marshall arrives and tries to arrest Michelle. A violent fight breaks out. Herm and Cosmo battle Marshall's drone. Michelle crushes him using a bulldozer. The warehouse collapses, forcing everyone into the exclusion zone. Keats leads them to a secret hangar. They use a massive construction robot to travel. Keats reveals that Herm saved his life during the war, proving robots are capable of compassion. They head to Tabletop Mountain, where robots now live freely. The group is captured by robots and brought before Mr. Peanut. Mr. Peanut explains that they mistook them for scavengers and apologizes. Michelle asks for help finding the doctor. Mr. Peanut explains that their presence puts the entire robot settlement at risk, but he agrees to escort them 10 miles into the exclusion zone and then leave them alone there. He explains that helping them any further could break the peace treaty he signed with the human government. Michelle becomes angry and desperate. She finally reveals the full truth. Centra Corporation is holding her brother, and only the doctor with glasses can help save him. Mr. Peanut is confused. He asks why Centra would go to such extreme lengths just to capture one boy. He then admits that a man named Dr. Amherst, a doctor with glasses, did come to the robot settlement once. However, Mr. Peanut forced him to leave because he didn't want anything that could threaten the treaty or give humans an excuse to attack the robots again. Michelle is furious. She accuses him of sending the only man who could help into the wilderness to die. Mr. Peanut firmly defends his decision. He explains that the treaty officially recognized robots as living beings, not machines. Angrily, Michelle grabs Cosmo and storms out of the settlement. Keat runs after her and finally convinces her to wait until morning. Reluctantly, she agrees. Elsewhere, Ethan Skate is inside a virtual simulation with his deceased mother. He recreated her using memories stored in his mind. She appears warm, loving, and peaceful. Suddenly, the simulation glitches. Skate becomes furious and summons his top engineers. They explain that there is a critical flaw in the Neurocaster network. The most important part of the system, Christopher, has somehow escaped. Although Christopher's body is still physically inside Center, his consciousness is missing. They explain that a tiny unsecured pathway in his data structure allowed his mind to slowly leak past Center's firewalls. This pathway was deliberately built, and it was done by Dr. Amherst. The engineers warn that if the data loss continues, Center will collapse within days. Enraged, Skate sends a virtual meeting request to Marshall Bradbury, the legendary robot hunter. They meet inside a virtual lake. Skate asks Marshall to hunt down Cosmo because Cosmo carries something that belongs to Center. Marshall agrees. That night, Michelle sits quietly and remembers her brother. She recalls a moment when Christopher almost gave up on his dreams after college and how she encouraged him. They watched Kid Cosmo together, just like old times. Inside Cosmo's body, Christopher senses her sadness. He moves closer to comfort her computer and plays her favorite cartoon. Other robots notice the sound and slowly gather around, watching the cartoon together in silence. Later that night, a postman robot named Penny arrives. She delivers a message that Dr. Amherst left behind, with instructions to give it to Christopher if he ever appeared. The message reveals the doctor's location. However, they realize the area is infested with scavenger robots, and reaching it will require heavy firepower. Mr. Peanut overhears everything. He walks over and offers his help. He introduces them to an old baseball player robot designed for powerful combat. By nightfall, the group reaches the location described in the message. Michelle spots a lonely house in the distance and believes it belongs to the doctor. Before they can approach, scavenger robots suddenly ambush them. The group fights their way toward the house, but once there, they find no visible doors. As scavengers close in, panic rises. Suddenly, music starts playing. Flames burst out, and the scavenger robots flee in fear. The ground opens beneath the group, and they fall through a hidden passage. Inside the house, they finally come face to face with Dr. Amherst. Cosmo hands him the letter. Michelle immediately charges at him and demands the truth about her brother. Dr. Amherst admits that Christopher is being held at Center in Seattle. He explains that after the car accident, Center discovered Christopher's unique neurological abilities. His brain could perfectly connect humans, drones, and the Neurocaster network, something no one else could do. They were losing the war, and Christopher became their weapon. Michelle accuses the doctor of lying to her in the hospital. The doctor insists that Christopher was in a coma and believed to be dying. He claims they saved his life. Suddenly, Marshall's drone breaks into the house. The group escapes, but Mr. Peanut stays behind to hold Marshall off. Outside, a massive battle erupts between robots and Center drones. Ethan Skate, watching from Center, orders full lethal force. Dr. Amherst helps Michelle and Cosmo destroy several drones. Inside the house, Marshall brutally defeats Mr. Peanut, leaving him badly injured. He declares that the treaty has been broken and there will be consequences.
Dr. Amherst tells Michelle to run while he stays behind. Marshall refuses to kill humans, but Ethan Skate remotely takes control of a drone and murders the doctor himself. Cosmo is captured. Michelle is left devastated. The group returns to Tabletop Mountain and finds it destroyed. Robots are dead or badly injured. At Center, Cosmo is taken into a lab. Christopher's consciousness is reconnected to his physical body. Marshall confronts Skate, calling him a murderer. Skate coldly explains that Christopher is the key to a future without suffering. He believes sacrifice is necessary for progress. Meanwhile, Michelle mourns. Keats comforts her and promises to help get her brother back. PC, the robot assistant, reveals the truth. Center's entire system runs through Christopher's brain. If Christopher is disconnected, all Neurocasters and drones will shut down forever. Michelle decides to end Center once and for all. The robots rally behind her. Mr. Peanut, though wounded, agrees to join. Metal and meat together. They attack Seattle. A massive battle erupts. Michelle sneaks inside and enters Christopher's consciousness through the Neurocaster. She finds him inside their childhood home. Christopher tells her the truth. His body can be kept alive for decades, but he will never truly live again. The only way to end the suffering is for Michelle to let him go. With tears, she says goodbye. She disconnects his life support while holding Cosmo's hand. Instantly, all Center technology shuts down worldwide. Skate screams in rage. The robots win. Ethan Skate is arrested after footage of his crimes leaks. Michelle addresses the world, calling for unity between humans and robots. Cosmo's body is dumped in a junkyard. Suddenly, it awakens. In a reflection, we see that Christopher is still there.